Very often we're asked by new clients to help them achieve accountability. And although it's the hardest of the 5 behaviours to achieve, it is not your starting point. And I'm just going to briefly explain to you why. This is the 5 behaviours of a cohesive team, and it comes from Patrick Lencioni. The foundation of this is trust. And what we're talking about is vulnerability-based trust. So this is when team members are genuinely transparent and honest with each other, when they're not thinking about the consequences of what they're going to say, where it's a safe place to ask for help and admit mistakes. Another term you could use for this is psychological safety. Once you have that environment where it is a safe place for everybody to speak up and say what they really think, then you're able to enter into productive conflict. And conflict is healthy because what you're trying to do is ensure that team members are able to engage in really constructive debate of ideas to get to the best outcome for the business. And the importance here is that everybody has a voice and that everybody is able to weigh in. Because if you weigh in and you feel like you've contributed to the idea and the decision that is made, then you will gain commitment. It's the idea of if you feel like you've been heard, then you're much more likely to agree and commit to the decision and direction of travel. What's really important with commitment is that it's commitment and not consensus. And very often I explain that the difference for me between commitment and consensus in my job as a change agent was at least 6 months, because by the time I'd got consensus around the different regions to be able to move forwards, it had taken 6 months to reach that consensus. So it's really important for everybody to be heard and then to be able to commit to the decision. And even if people disagree, to be able to disagree but commit and align, and then agree what you're going to measure, agree perhaps what a contingency plan is, but at least you have the same direction of travel for everybody in the team. It's also important with commitment to gain clarity, because if you don't have clarity of what is expected, then you can't hold people accountable. So more often than not, because of the number of competing priorities teams have, accountability is really hard to achieve. So go back to the beginning of this framework and you start with trust. So it's a safe place where everybody says what they really think, that you can really enter into constructive conflict. So everybody feels like that they've been heard and they've contributed to the decision that they can then commit to. And if they commit with clarity and you've got absolute clarity on what is expected of each other, then you are able to hold each other accountable. And it's important that you recognize this isn't being accountable to the leader, but accountable to each other. And with this peer pressure and accountability, that's where you can really propel a team forwards. And you're propelling a team forwards to achieve collective results, so that it's not individual results, but actually what are you achieving as a team? We are the Amplified Group and we help tech organizations execute faster.